And now, WJCU University Heights takes a break from the Heights programming to bring you.
Jewish Community Radio.
It's a very sad day this week. We, Oshav and I should say, among most other Jews, are heartbroken. It's what's happening in Israel right now. We are tortured. We've been in pain since basically we finished the show last Friday. Shabbat started Friday night. I eventually went to sleep as usual, and I was kept up all night by the sounds of my red alert app going off. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was bad. It goes off usually. I'm used to it. I go back to sleep almost immediately. We're so used to it.
Hmm.
This Friday night was different. We could go tonight as the show airs. Israel was under a massive attack. I think everybody knows that. We're not going to recap that,
Right.
but I want to talk about something very, very important. How the world is reacting. In many cases up front, the world's saying, yes, we've got to stand with Israel, stand with Israel. But behind the scenes, Elishava and I and most other people have seen a lot of nasty comments. For example, there were protests against Israel, blaming Israel for the attacks on Israel by Hamas.
Right.
There have been, there was, I should say, after within 48 hours, a call from one world leader in particular. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to embarrass people. You can guess who it is on your own. Calling for a ceasefire immediately. Basically, what this certain world leader said was Israel should say, "Thank you, sir, may I have another," and not respond. Which, of course, not responding means you're going to get more.
Hmm.
Israel has had to, has been forced to, literally, respond, and is putting an end to this. It's a tough fight. There are hostages that were taken, women and children, small children, women, defenseless, elderly, Holocaust survivors murdered and captured as prisoners. As what's the word what I'm looking for, Elisheva? They were kidnapped.
Hmm.
For what? Once again, we have cowards kidnapping the weak. If you want to fight, you want to say you claim you're a man and you want to fight, fight men, not children. This has been horrific. What's going on is going on further. And I want to address something very, very important here. And I'm sorry if my voice does not sound happy as it usually does. I am not happy. I can't fake it. I can't hide it. This is the reality that every Jew in this country is going through. I have friends and relatives in Israel, as do many Jews here in Cleveland and around the world. And what bothers me more than anything else is the reaction since. Today, I don't have the source in front. Sadly, my friend Jeremy, who's supposed to be on, he had to leave early, couldn't make it on. But he pointed me out that today, Friday, the day the show's airing, we're recording this, by the way, Wednesday night, so we have no idea what's going to happen in between. Probably behind the news. So the reason why we're not going into numbers. But Jeremy pointed out that today, Friday, the day the show is being aired, has been declared International Day of Jihad. Yes, International Day to attack Jews. I hope and I pray with all my might that the Jews in Israel and around the world are safe. Because this may be a day we're all attacked. Very, very scary. I can tell you for a fact that a friend of mine who drives Uber mentioned to three passengers he told me about what's going on and received three very, very bad ratings. Oh, yeah, we stand behind you. But the reality is, people don't. Publicly, they do. The question then becomes how long will this public display of standing with Israel last? I fear it won't last very long, especially when the Palestinian media is going to say, oh, look what happened to us here. But the Jews around the world know there's a thing we call Pallywood. They put on a show of who's injured. in many cases. Now, people can be innocent people going to be hurt. Yes, collateral damage. It happens. Israel, however, is targeting the militants. Sorry, what the media likes to call militants. We are Israel. The Jews in Israel are attacking the terrorists, not militants, but the terrorists. Whereas Hamas goes after civilians. That's a major difference. What we're seeing. You cannot compare the two. Will there be collateral damage when going after terrorists? Yes. Why? Because Hamas hides in schools, in hospitals. The last time this happened, I forgot how many years ago it was, there were rockets being launched from the roofs of hospitals with big rocket launchers. Why? Because the only conclusion I can make is that Hamas wanted the hospital to be hit. Israel had no choice but to take out those rocket launchers on top of the hospitals. You're asking for it. You're putting people in lives in danger for your political aspirations. How evil and how coward is that? It's cowardice for these terrorists to attack women, children, small children, and the elderly, including especially Holocaust survivors. You want to fight? You want to be a man fighting a man? Fight men. Don't go after innocent women and children. It's disgusting. It's a cheap shot at the very, very least. And now we're seeing this thing escalate more and more. At the time of recording this, I I forget the exact number. About 1,200 Jews killed.
It's about 1,200, yeah.
Yeah, killed, murdered. For what? To what end? What does this really do? Tell me. Tell me what it really does. The only thing it does is, I'll be honest with you, you're ticking off the Jews. And when we get upset, we fight back. And we're fighting back hard. Israel is not going to take it. Is not going to put up with this. Israel has to. This is not speculation. This is not wish. This is the end result. Israel knows it has to put an end to Hamas once and for all. This is, by the numbers alone, this is like, okay, Israel size of New Jersey, small country. This is like I forget how many times, 100 times worse than 9/11 in the U.S. There's not anybody in Israel who's not affected. Friends of mine, family. My family keeps texting on one app in particular. I'm not going to say which. I'm not going to plug an app. Over and over and over again. I turn off my Red Alert app. I'm going to turn it back on right now for the show. If it goes off, it goes off. I don't know. I can't predict it will or not. I don't know. But if it goes off, it goes off. This Red Alert app that Chef and I both have has been hacked. The Jerusalem Post website, I should say, has been hacked. Jewish sites across the world are being hacked. This is not just Jews in Israel who are under fire. In fact, this International Day of Jihad, we have no idea what's going to happen. Jews everywhere are worried. We have every right to be worried. And on top of it, Israel is the only country in the world that has to defend its right just to defend itself. Imagine you gotta have defend your right to defend yourself. Jews are going around saying Israel has the right to defend itself. They're defending that right. How insane has the world gone? There are some people who don't like Jews. Why? I have no clue. What did we do to you? I can think of some religious people making some claims. But I'm not going to go into that right now. It's not the time for these kind of things. Not the time. Not the
Right.
place. It's just not. And I'm just horrified and disgusted. Elisheva, I'm not being to rant on very much longer. Please say something before I blow my top.
Right. So just to give people like the human perspective of this, so I have friends, I have family that live in Israel, and there's been a lot of updates on social media and of different events. Oh, we're gonna, and a lot of it is just to try to have life as normal as possible despite all the pain and anguish going on. And so like there's updates like, oh, we're gonna have this event for kids, and don't worry, it's only 30 seconds from a bomb shelter. And it's just as an example. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is this is something that many of us in America do not have any sense of. We just go about our daily lives. We don't really think about this possibility that we have to be in permanent regular access to a bomb shelter. And that's why Fred and I keep the alerts on our phone, is because while we're not there experiencing it, like this way we have like this sense of empathy for our Jewish brothers and sisters and everybody in Israel. So where I'm also moving forward with this is, as Fred said, this is a perspective. I mean, many of the people were just living their ordinary lives last Shabbat. There was a music festival. I mean, people were just going to the music festival. They weren't trying to cause any trouble. They were just there. Some people were celebrating Shabbat. People were just living their daily lives. And again, this is not something we experience in America, where all of a sudden we're being we're being upheavaled. So when we're looking at all the, oh, I stand with Israel, I mean, is it true? Is it genuine? I've been seeing a lot of people changing their profile pictures to show the Israeli flag, but for how long? And there's been a great show of support. There's been people who are here in America. They're trying to get back to Israel to go serve. There's a lot of flights going. I did see a lovely story. There was in Tel Aviv. There's a non-kosher. It's normally a non-kosher restaurant. They koshered everything in the restaurant so they could become kosher certified to help make food for the troops. I mean, so like this is like a, but this is also an important thing to show. This is how serious everybody's taking this. Is like there's points we might not agree. Like for example, a music festival on Shabbat. Like Fred and I wouldn't typically go to such a thing. Or there's non-kosher restaurants in Tel Aviv, and yes, we know there's Jewish people who don't keep kosher. But look what's going on. We're banding together in this pursuit. It's also recommended that if you're not a regular synagogue attender, to try to at least go this week
Please.
for Parsha Bereshit, because it shows this bit of solidarity.
And by the way, on the topic, if I may, sorry to interrupt you, Alicia. I
Hmm.
apologize. But Israel formed a unity government almost immediately. And on the
With how
topic,
many difficult votes that we've.
yes. But here's the thing, though, okay, about the unity government, I gotta say, okay? One of the interesting things, the complaints about Israel that goes around is, oh my God, Israel is an apartheid state. What that claim really is the Palestinian groups claiming Israel is what they are actually. A lot of people don't understand this. It's very important we get this out. There are people who make claims. Oh yeah, Israel is this, Israel is that. Listen, let's face some facts. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East. Israel is the only true democracy in the Middle East. Israel is the only place where, guess what? They complain it's always an apartheid state. Really? Is that why there are Arabs who are citizens and members of the Israel Knesset? Did you know that if you are a Jew, you actually step into Palestinian territory, odds are you'll be killed within minutes, murdered within minutes. Yet Israel is claimed to be the apartheid state.
And also for those people who are very supportive of marginalized populations, Israel is probably the one of the most supportive countries for LGBT in the
Correct.
entire Middle East.
No, but I'm
Um,
probably the most.
it,
Listen, okay, you try being gay in Hamas territories, you won't last for 2 minutes.
right.
I'm sorry to say it, but they will kill you. The PA
So
territories.
so
Try
you
doing,
go
yeah,
to you go to Israel. Tel Aviv has a large pride parade
every
in
year.
June every year. And Jerusalem's is also fairly well attended. The one in Jerusalem's supposedly more tame, but the point is that name another country in the Middle East where if you're LGBT, you're not going to get shot.
Correct. It doesn't exist. The fact is, you want to have your alternative lifestyle. In the Middle East, the only place for that is in Israel. Only place. And we can go on and on. But the fact is that Israel is exactly what the Arabs want you. Sorry, the Palestinians want you to believe they are not. Okay.
So really, really pay attention to what's being said. I mean, it's the classic story all over again. But basically, I mean, think about it like this. What was it, 2005 when we had to abandon Gush Katif?
Yes.
And those were entire settlements. Like we had homes and hospitals and schools. And you would think, oh, okay, well, look, now you have infrastructure set up. It's not being used.
Wait. It was being used when the Hamas came in. When Palestinians, Hamas wasn't in charge yet. They took over Gush Katif, the Jewish section of Gaza. They destroyed the synagogues, destroyed the farms, the farm equipment, the orchards, everything the Jews built, given to them, the homes given to them. Here, take it. Take the farm equipment. Build a farm. Build your farm. Destroyed.
That's what
Why
I mean
would
by
you do such a
it's
thing?
not, that's what I mean by it's not being used.
No, it was used. It was used as kindling.
Right.
It was burnt. It was burnt down.
And
It,
just to give you like a perspective of us as a peace-loving people, like this is actually a law from the Torah. You can't destroy fruit trees.
correct.
Even if it's your enemy's fruit tree, you cannot destroy a fruit tree.
If you're building a building somewhere, there's a fruit tree on the property. You, in the past, you couldn't build. Say you could actually move a fruit tree depending on the size of it. In the past, you couldn't do that. You can't build. You just can't. There's a fruit tree here. You must live. Period. This is the Jewish culture. This is who we are. Versus people who want to murder. Sorry, who do murder children, small children.
And as an educator, I've been very careful and a parent about some of the very disturbing videos that are being sent around.
What's happening right now is utterly disgusting.
So
And
it's like, I mean, that's we don't want to get in trouble, so we're not going to describe anything that's going on in any of those videos.
yeah. We're being really cautious here. Believe me, Elisheva and I are being really super cautious what we're saying here. But I will tell you this much here, and this is kind of important. And I really am going to make sure I don't violate any of the rules of the FCC. But there's a call to action exposed to by a major Jewish group, the Zionist Organization of America. A call for one group that's been threatening Jewish students, literally threatening students on American universities with attacks. And I'm going to kind of read this. I got to kind of tone it down because, unfortunately, we can't do what's called a call to action. But I'm not going to mention the group by name. I'm just not going to. Certain Palestinian student movement encourages confrontation and violence and has issued a call to action urging students on campuses across the country to mobilize a day of resistance. Okay, what this boils down to is that this is calling for listen, okay, be honest here. And I'm not read the whole thing here, but this is a call to action for attacking Jews. This is, and this group here said, we're putting the universities on notice with this alert that will hold you responsibility for such, and I quote, mobilization, end quote, efforts. It's basically a day of, quote, day of resistance. What the heck are these Jewish students doing on the campus? They're going to learn, to study, to get a degree, to become smart, educated. And they're being targeted because they're Jews. Because they're Jews. So this is not just Middle East. This is global. This is disgustingly global. Elisheva and I have talked about the past. The boycott, divestment, sanctions campaign against Israel. It's more than that. That campaign has had since day one a list of American companies they have been boycotting. and they expanded that list dramatically. Don't don't confuse this. This is the BDS campaign. And by the way, you can read in my book. If you complain to me about this, I'll be happy to give my book to whoever you complain to, and they're going to learn something. And I document it in a book I wrote. I'm not going to promote my own book right now. Sorry, I'm not allowed to do that at the station. Can't do it against the rules. But the fact is that this is BDS is the campaign of the Palestinian Authority, literally developed by a PA, consulted a PA with Yasser Arafat, documented in my book. I
And
wish I
this
could.
was around before there was ever the state of Israel.
Well, it started, yeah, before Israel started. It started before Israel created, long before. It was created, by the way, to starve out the Jews before Israel could be created. They literally want to starve out the Jews. That's what BDS is. That's what the Arab boycott of Israel is. Designed to starve out the Jews. Anyway, I digress. The BDS campaign is of Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Palestinian Authority. It's it's coordinated through Syria, where the anti-boycott office exists, literally. Lately, we've seen some progress in with the Abraham Accords, which have really played gone a long way to make life better for Jews and Arabs around the world. I think some interesting, Elisheva. I saw an interesting comment in a video by, I believe it was by an astronaut. I don't remember for sure. But it was by a space junkie at the very least. And forgive me, Elisheva. All the listeners, please forgive me. I'm not at my best today. I'm essentially upset. I am worried. I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. You can hear my voice. I'm not my usual happy self. The
Hmm.
point is, this video points out there are only two borders in the world. I wish I remember who did this video because I really should give them credit. Only two borders in the world that can be seen from space. One is North and South Korea at nighttime because there's no lights in North Korea.
Hmm.
The other one is Israel during daytime. Why? Because Israel is green. It's lush. Vegetation. Because of Israeli irrigation systems. You go to Arab countries, dry, arid desert. The video showed the actual photos from space. All I can say is it's true. And Israel has been exporting its technology to help feed Africa. In Israel, Jews, everyone else that matter, are black, white, Chinese, whatever. We don't have. We're not racist against people. We're not.
Hmm.
In Israel, you have Arab citizens of Israel. We live together. Those who want to live in peace live in peace. You know why there's a wall? To stop terrorism. And unfortunately, the terrorists, in this case here, broke through the walls, took hostages, bulldozed the wall, killed and kidnapped the innocent. Just plain people in homes. They can't do anything. We think women can go up against a big burly guy. Uh-uh. Can't do it. And this is what we're dealing with. And I don't, Elisheva, help me out here if I'm right.
Hmm.
Help me out here. Jews, be it Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, wherever we are across the world, Copenhagen, wherever. We all basically know or relate to somebody in Israel.
Hmm.
Would you agree?
Hmm.
Do you think that we're somehow not affected by this?
No, we're all affected
Yes.
because even if we don't have family there, I told someone it's my spiritual homeland.
Well,
Like I might be an American. I live in the United States of America, but I mean, many Jews yearn to be in Israel, our spiritual homeland.
speaking of which, a lot of Jews right now are rushing to join and get involved in the IDF, Israel Defense Forces. Not Israel Offense Forces, Israel Defense Forces. And I just got to give a plug to somebody, if I may. This is a nonprofit that our friend William has promoted.
Hmm.
UnityWarriors.com. It's a 501c, and they're raising money right now. Okay, first let's say one thing that's happening in Israel. You're a soldier, you're in your service, you get your notice. Everyone's put here, been calls up already by now. Everybody, essentially. You get your call up notice. The only thing you have time to do is pack spare socks and underwear. The one thing Unity Warriors is doing is they are assembling camouflage emergency medical kits. Highly in demand, highly needed. I can't give the dollar amount needed. I can't. That's against the rules of FCC for non-commercial station. But you can donate there. They're buying these relatively inexpensive. They're not cheap, but relatively cheaper than you think they would be for a medical kit like this.
Hmm.
Kit. And give them to soldiers who are going in the field because people need them. There's groups like Hatzalah in Israel that are saving lives. I can't say for sure. I don't know. Look up right now. Um, but Hatzalah in Israel, I'm sure they need United Hatzalah. Yes, IsraelRescue.org. Here it is. They are for sure in desperate need of medical equipment right now. And this is not going to go. It's not going to be a one-day thing. This is going to go on for probably a month or two. If you can, it's also a great nonprofit that I have donated to proudly. They need the support. This is war, and innocent people are being killed. And I hope people can find their heart to save the lives of the innocent people. And now we can't, of course, gotta be careful how we do this. I can put out the website. I can't mention dollar amounts, but I'm hoping people will go look at the website IsraelRescue.org and see what they're doing. The videos there show you. Let me just give some numbers here. When seconds count, United Hatzalah is there. 90-second response goal. 6 million emergency responses. 6,500 active volunteers. It's all volunteer organization. And they're like, yes, they help Arabs too. There are Muslims who are part of Hatzalah. Actively. It doesn't matter. We don't care. We're not discriminatory. Unlike some people in the Middle East. When you hear these claims about, oh, Israel is apartheid, we all know it's fake. We all know it's fake. Unfortunately, a lot of young people today believe it because they hear it from other people, but they don't check the actual information themselves.
But
So,
it's because it's getting sucked into the narrative of marginalization. That's why this is important. South African apartheid is very different. This is not apartheid. If by choice you are living in a different place, it's not apartheid.
yes.
Israel recognizes all of their citizens. They're not forcing anyone to live where they don't want to live.
Or fall to a religion they don't want to fall for. Or believe
Right.
in, I should say. Well, better terminology, sorry.
Because many Israeli citizens are not even Jewish. I mean, Israel opened its doors to people from the former Soviet Union who probably didn't even have a drop of Jewish ancestry.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is what's important to understand. It's a Jewish nation, but there's Christians, there's Muslims, there's Druzi,
Baha'i.
Bahai's world headquarters is in Haifa. So it's not. I mean, so it's yes, it's the Jewish state, but all are welcome, and so that's why it's not apartheid.
And by the way, I have to say one thing very important as we get near the end of the show. Oseh shalom b'mamav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Akol Yisrael v'imru.
I mean,
It's a call for peace. It's a call for peace. We do. Okay. Unfortunately, we have to go now.
hmm
Shabbat candlelight time for tonight, October 13th, is no later than 6:31 p.m. and ends Saturday, 7:29 p.m. We're wishing everybody peace. Peace in the Middle East and peace all over the world. Very important we pray for peace and pray for Jerusalem. Elisheva, I'm heartbroken. I'm sure you are too.
hmm
And please, people, please love each other and give support for those who are trying to live in peace. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.